Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. This is a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from two important newspapers. The first being the Hindu and the other is the Indian Express. So the most important news and editorial of the day would be discussed in this session. Let's get started with news topic list. Today is 22nd of January. The first topic is NTPC to build coal buffer stock for summer. Second, people can soon invest in infrastructure project. The government is coming with a plan where the investment can be made in the infrastructure project. Third, US-Russia hold talks on Ukraine. The Ukraine crisis, which has taken a toll, now they're looking forward for a resolutions in that. The second last is need for global corporations to combat terror. We'll see the detail of this as well. And the last is an editorial, a national border guard, right? So this is an editorial from the Indian Express. We'll understand why the editor is suggesting for establishment of national border guard. Apart from this, at the end of this video, there would be some MCQ based question. These questions would be based on current affairs that you can practice at your home. And those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video helpful and informative, do not forget to press a like button. And we are offering Republic Day sale. 3 offers are there. You can choose according to your suitability. For more details, you can refer to the description section of this video. We have provided a link to redirect to that particular page. And this is valid till 26th of January. So the first news, NTPC to build coal buffer stock for summer. This particular news is important for General Studies paper 3. Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilizations, growth and development. So talking about the thermal power, or you can say the need of coal. So India is one of the largest thermal power producers. जो state owned company है NTPC, they have floated a tender to procure over 14 million tons of imported coal despite an elevated international prices. No, the prices of the international coal, जो coal की rate होती है imported market में, वो बढ़ी हुई है. But then also NTPC is, they have raised a tender, they have come up with a tender where they will procuring around 14 million ton of coal. So NTPC is expected to have a potential shortage of domestic coal in summer. So we have seen the condition was not good also in the last summer, where the crunches was seen and severe load sheddings were also seen in the metropolitan cities. Now, issues of delivery is a concern. So thermal power producers, they have constantly raised the issues of uncertainty of delivery of coal, right? At the point when they require, it is being not delivered at the time, right? So the timely delivery is very important, and these are unlikely to be able to build a stock normative जहाँ पे मार्च के अकॉर्डिंग तक गवर्नमेंट को ये सारी चीज़ें ज़रूरत है कि वो उनके पास पहुँच जाए, एनटीपीसी के पास पहुँच जाए. Now the low coal stocks at the thermal plant were forced by the many states, including the Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Punjab. They have imposed load shedding in last year also, right? So because of the non-availability of the coal, जो thermal power के productions थी, जो current generations होती, जो power generations होती थी, that was on the lesser side. And the states have also rushed to power exchange, paying their 3 to 4 times in normal rate, जो कि inadequate supply की वजह से प्रॉब्लम होती है. उससे बचने के लिए अभी जो प्राइस हाइक है वो भी स्टेट्स पे करने को तैयार है. Now procurement tender की अगर बात करें, NTPC has floated tender, as I told you in the beginning, that they would be procuring around 14.5 million ton of imported coal, right? And from various thermal power, expecting the shortfall in the domestic coal. Right? We see basically government of India ने जो coal ministry है, they have also clarified that coal supply में कोई कमी नहीं है, but to some extent जो ground reality है वो ये कहती है कि coal की जो demand है या कि जो availability है वो थोड़ी कम रहेगी. Now, there may be shortfall in the domestic coal, and NTPC need to take the buffer stock of the coal before the summer arises. So they are planning somewhere close to March or April ताकि उनके पास stock पूरी हो जाए. Now, the government in October has permitted generations companies for domestic use to import up to 10% of their coal requirement for the coal shortage. अगर coal shortage होती है तो वो अपनी पूरी total requirement की जो 10% है वो import कर सकते हैं बाहर से. Right? This is the norms by the government of India. Now, the price of Indonesian coal that is mostly being imported is currently around $160 पर टन, एंड इट फ्रॉम 75 जो जनवरी में थी वो बढ़कर 160 हो गई. सो यू कैन सी the price is almost more than double, and this is expected कि अगर अभी अवेलेबल करा दी जाए, अभी ऑक्शंस होती हैं या फिर टेंडर्स नहीं करती हैं, तो पॉसिबली मार्च और अप्रैल द एनटीपीसी वुड बी गेटिंग द सफिशिएंट अमाउंट ऑफ द coal. If you talk about the stock target, what is the stock target that the Ministry of Power has asked the Indian Railways to prioritize the coal deliveries? Coal की जो deliveries हैं वो timely bound पे हो, and thermal power plant to build up their coal inventory. So they would be building up their inventories where they would be storing up the coal. जो भी excess coal या फिर जो storage की facilities है वो इनके inventories में maintain होंगी. Now, the power generation companies is likely to able to build up the stock to reach up the level of 58 million ton by March. So this is the quantity, the amount that is required. Now, total stock of coal in this power plant stood up at 24.6 million. So this is the present conditions. In the inventory part, you can say the stock part, but this need to be raised up to 58 million ton. Now, the other news, people can soon invest in infra project. This particular news is important for General Studies paper 2. Government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from it. So according to the Ministry of Road Transport and Highway, the Union government is awaiting for the approval of Security and Exchange Board of India, जिनके permissions के बाद एक common citizen जो है वो 1 लाख रुपीस तक invest कर पाएंगे infrastructure projects पे. So this is a new model which will call for an investment of the people, and definitely this will help government to create a lot more assets for the infrastructure projects. राइट, तो दोनों की तरफ से बेनिफिट्स है, सिटीजन को भी बेनिफिट्स है और गवर्नमेंट को भी इससे बेनिफिट है. राइट, now after the approval from the SEBI, that is Security and Exchange Board of India, the common man can invest in NHAI के जो नेशनल हाईवे अथॉरिटी के जो प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं उनमें वो डायरेक्टली इन्वेस्ट कर पाएंगे. Now the ministry has also assured income of 7.5 to 8% per annum in the investment, right? So 7.5 to 8% is a good return that you can expect in any investment, right? अगर आप FD की बात करें, you get around 5 to 6% in FD. If you talk about the saving rate, you get around 3 to 4%, right? 2 से लेके 3 to 4%, maximum 4% that you can get above 1 lakh rupees. But if you're getting 7.5 to 8%, this would be a good option for those people who have retired or who have corpus to invest. उन लोगों को भी काफी ज्यादा मदद मिलेगी. Now, the upcoming union budget would expedite the process of Indian economy, where it would take the larger economy of the world, right? So this investment is good. Talking about the other investment like SIPs हैं, mutual funds हैं, but they are not secure, right? वहाँ पे थोड़ी जो market की up and downs होती है, but this is a guaranteed return that government would be offering. Now, talking about the sector-wise bifurcations, the breakup of the expenditure for select sector, government ने कोशिश की है कि 1.102 lakh crore rupees infrastructures में invest किए जाने हैं. So this is a bifurcation with sector-wise. Energy sectors would have somewhere close to 24%. Infrastructure में 16% की investment होनी. If you talk about railway, this would be close to 13%. Then in terms of road, it is 19%, irrigation 8%, rural infrastructure 8%, communication is 3%, social infrastructure is 3%, and other would be 6%. So this is how during fiscal year of 2022 to 2025, this sector has actually been accounted for, and this is terms of investment or contribution that we can see in the sector wise. Now, US-Russia hold talks on Ukraine. This particular news is important for General Studies paper 2. Effect of policies and politics for developed and developing countries. Recently, the talks between the US Secretary of State और जो रशिया के फॉरेन मिनिस्टर उन दोनों की मुलाकात हुई है, they have met just 11 days after the disputes meet in Geneva. They already had their meeting 11 day prior, but वहाँ पे कोई resolution नहीं निकली. Now they are looking forward कि किस तरह से एक डायलॉग स्टैब्लिश की जा सके और जो यूक्रेन के बॉर्डर्स में जो ट्रूप्स डिप्लॉयड हैं उनको वापस बुलाया जा सके, राइट? वी हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस दिस न्यूज़. आई हैव शोन यू अ मैप ऑल्सो. इफ यू वांट यू कैन चेक इट आउट, या फिर आप गूगल सर्च करके वो मैप भी चेक कर सकते हैं. नाउ द यूएस stressed it remained open to finding of the diplomatic solutions, and it warned that swift and severe response is required, because if Russia is going to invade Ukraine, they would have to pay, because US has made it clear कि अगर इस तरह की कोई invasions होती है, invade करती है रशिया, तो उसके repercussions उसको देखने होंगे, and US will take action. US has made it crystal clear. Now the United States and its allies have warned that they would have economic sanctions for any invasion that can take place in Ukraine by the Russia. Now, proposal that was sent by the United States. So, one proposal by the United States is to revive the restrictions. जो missiles in Europe, they have been sent to intermediate range nuclear force treaty के through. Cold War deal trashed by the former president, which has accused Russia for the violations. Now, if the Ukraine issue is resolved, this sanction would be removed. Now, the Biden administration at present has offered the transparency on military exercises, and Russia has not rejected the proposal, but it says that Ukraine is definitely a concern. और नेवल ड्रिल जो है उन्होंने अनाउंस की थी पहले भी, Atlantic, Pacific, Arctic और Mediterranean seas पे. But we have to see how Russia is acting, because if they are coming to negotiation, it would be very important to adhere all the terms and conditions that was proposed by the United States. Now, the lawmaker in Russia parliament, they have come forward with a bill where Russian president to recognize the independence of pro-Moscow separatist terrorist, चाहे जो कि यूक्रेन, डोनेट्स्क और लुहांस्क में ऑपरेट कर रहे होंगे. Now, Ukraine military intelligence services has recently accused कि रशिया ने fresh arm और equipment send किए अपने rebels को, जो कि इस तरह के artillery और ammunitions में भी काम करेंगे. And despite the fact many people has died in Crimea region or in Ukraine region, so this can escalate further level of tension between Ukraine and Russia. And even as we know that US is playing a very crucial role in this part, so they would definitely not allow something this to happen. Now, need for global cooperations to combat terror. This particular news is important for General Studies Paper 3. Bilateral regional grouping and agreement evolving India's and affecting India's interest. So, in recent statement, जो इंडिया के फॉरेन सेक्रेटरी है, he said that counter-terrorism cooperation between countries has only emboldened the terrorist, right? तो अगर हमने terrorism पे अभी काम नहीं किया और इसको अगर motivate किया इस तरह से action नहीं लेके, so this would have the repercussion in future. So some example were cited, जिस तरह से 26/11 की attack हुई थी, इंडिया ने सारे जो प्रोसेस थे, जो इंटरनेशनल प्रोटोकॉल्स थे या जो लीगल टर्म्स में जितनी एक्शंस लेनी थी वो ली, बट स्टिल we expect something more good to happen. Now, the recent Texas sanguinary shootout which took place, so वहाँ पे भी again Pakistani origin was the people that was involved. Now, a drone attack in Yemeni Houthis, जहाँ पे यूनाइटेड अरब एमिराट्स में 2 इंडियन की डेथ हुई है, तो यहाँ पे ये ग्रुप ने इसकी क्लेम ली थी. So this is a time if this terrorist organization is not being penalized at right directions, और अगर conclusive actions नहीं लिए जाते हैं, तो इनको motivations मिलती है दोबारा भी कुछ इस तरह की activities करने में. Now, the Foreign Secretary says that the epicenter of terror in India is the neighborhood is still active. They have not named Pakistan directly, but it say that this is definitely being performed by the India's neighborhood. That is obvious Pakistan. And it is a global threat that require unambiguous, undivided, effective and collective response. So they want that जितनी भी important groups हैं इस region में, चाहे वो Indo-Pacific की बात हो या even many other developed countries, they should be the part of this initiative so that we can curb the terrorism. And he also said that the motivation of terrorists must not be used to undermine the fight against the terrorism. Now, something highlighting the issues of Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean region, where China claims to have its dominance, which India definitely do not want any country to dominate. इसको लेकर के रशिया ने भी अपनी स्टैंड क्लियर की है, यूएस ने भी स्टैंड क्लियर की है ना, ऑस्ट्रेलिया ने भी स्टैंड क्लियर की है. स्पीकिंग अबाउट दिस इंडियन ओशन एंड पैसिफिक रीजन, द फॉरेन सेक्रेटरी सेड दैट इंडिया पैसिफिक इज नॉट अ ज्योग्राफिकल कंट्रास्ट. सिर्फ ये एक ज्योग्राफिकल कंस्ट्रक्ट नहीं है, ये एक ईपी सेंटर होगी जहाँ पे ग्लोबल पॉलिटिक्स और ग्लोबल इकोनॉमिक्स की एक्शंस होंगे, एंड दिस इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी सिग्निफिकेंट पार्ट इन फ्यूचर. सो दिस इज अ पॉइंट विच यू कैन इवन यूज इन मेन्स पेपर. Now, he's also highlighted that this require a common rule-based order that respects sovereignty and territorial integrity, stronger supply chain. Now, the global challenges for sustainable development, environmental protection, climate change are more acute in this region, right? So these are some of the concern that was highlighted. Now, they can be addressed through collaborative efforts that promote rather linkages, economic development and debt traps. तो डेट ट्रैप से बात ये कहेगी कि जिस तरह से चाइना ने श्रीलंका पे इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है and Sri Lanka is not able to repay the amount, right? So somewhere these countries are making economic dependence और बाद में उनके डेट ट्रैप की वजह से उनको काफ़ी ज़्यादा परेशानी हुई है. So श्रीलंका crisis is again another debate that we have already discussed. You can check my videos there, and this is something very important topic for the mains also. Now the other news, this is basically an editorial from Indian Express, a national border guard. So this particular news is important for General Studies paper 3, various security issues, agencies and their mandate. So in this particular editorial, Ramesh Devashan, he is a colonel in the Indian Army. He has highlighted the requirement for the forces that is operating and how we can make a force which is dedicated for the border guard and not the multiple forces that is operating in different domains of the country. So this particular news is going to be important. Basically, अगर बात करें इस particular news की क्या क्या theme है और क्या इसके सब topics हैं. So this is something, the subtopic that I'll be discussing with you. The first is India land borders, security forces and their mandate, the global practices, some challenges that we can see and way forward. And the entire editorial focuses upon India needs a single agency to guard its border. So in last few years, we have seen that China has escalated their armed activities और जो cross border infiltrations हैं वो China की तरफ से बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ी हैं, right? And this was started with the Doklam and even the Galwan Valley crisis that took place. So this has created a wake-up call that we need to take some actions in terms of our border security. Similarly, अगर continued बात करें पाकिस्तान की तरफ से जो infiltrations की जा रही है, that pose a fresh challenge to India, right? So border security and internal security is a concern for India in terms of providing security to our country and even securing our borders. Now India की जो land borders की अगर बात करें, how this land border is there. So India shared land border with Pakistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh and Myanmar. So these are the 6 important countries with which India share approximately 15,106 kilometers of the land borders. Now it also share the maritime boundaries with some important countries like Sri Lanka, Maldives, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Myanmar and Indonesia. So here also 6 country. Make sure ये factual information है जो आपके prelims के लिए भी important है. Now they accounted for like this maritime is like 7,683 coastline, which is approximately 2 million square kilometer in the special economic zone or exclusive economic zone. Now talking about the security forces that is operating in India, तो इंडिया में multiple security forces हैं. अगर बात करें CAPF की या फिर paramilitary forces के, they share their responsibility. How they share? अगर army की बात करें, army is being deployed in LOC, that is line of control, and actual ground position line जिसको AGPLB कहते हैं, right? ये army की duty है. If you talk about the duty that is being deployed to border security force, they look after into international border. पाकिस्तान के साथ जो border है और बांग्लादेश के साथ जो border है, इन सारी border security की duty BSF की है. Now guarding the LAC, that is line of actual control, has been assigned to ITBP, which itself mean Indo-Tibet Border Police, right? तो ITBP की duty है जो हमारे LAC है, लाइन ऑफ एक्चुअल कंट्रोल, उनको बॉर्डर्स को कनेक्ट करना, उनको प्रोटेक्ट करना, एंड दिस हैज आल्सो बीन डन बाय द आसाम राइफल. सो ITBP इन कोऑर्डिनेशन विद आसाम राइफल इज एक्चुअली गार्डिंग आवर LAC. Now we have other force name as सशस्त्र सीमा बल. This is responsible for guarding border with Nepal and Bhutan. So these two countries are the part where सशस्त्र सीमा बल is taking care of. Assam Rifle look into the border with Myanmar. So we have almost forces for different region and with a different operation. और in nutshell ये सारी चीजों की अगर बात करें, army with their 4 agency are guarding 6 neighborhood, right? सो कन्वर्सली मैरीटाइम बॉर्डर की अगर बात करें, देयर इज ओनली सिंगल वन एजेंसी और वन फोर्सेस दैट इज कॉल्ड कोस्ट गार्ड, राइट। तो जिस तरह से कोस्ट गार्ड के लिए एक सिंगल फोर्स है, क्यों नहीं उस तरह से ही सारे एरियाज में जो हमारे बॉर्डर्स हैं, जो हर एक अलग अलग फोर्सेस ऑपरेट कर रही है, वो एक सिंगल फोर्स होनी चाहिए। दैट इज द रीजन, द रैशनल बिहाइंड दिस एडिटोरियल। नाउ लेट्स सी सम ग्लोबल प्रैक्टिसेस अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड, किस तरह से चीज़ें ऑपरेट होती हैं, उनकी किस तरह से फोर्सेस काम करती हैं। सो मोस्ट कंट्री हैव रेज्ड स्पेशलाइज्ड एंड डेडिकेटेड आर्म्स बॉडीज। इफ यू टॉक अबाउट ईरान, they have border guard command which entirely take care of their borders, and Italy has border police services. Russia has created border guard services. Now US has their homeland security, would take care of their entire borders. China has पीपल आर्म्ड फोर्सेस, पाकिस्तान की फ्रंटियर कॉर्पस है और जो उनके वेस्टर्न बॉर्डर्स को टेक करती है, और रेंजर्स ग्रुप है जो इंडो पाक बॉर्डर्स के लिए काम करती है। Now, most of these countries are based on the threat perception and better combat cohesion, जहाँ पे ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऑपरेट करती हैं ताकि कमांड किया जा सके उनके आर्म्ड फोर्सेस और एक सिंगल कंट्रोलिंग अथॉरिटीज। Now, some challenges that is India is facing, और इंडिया के लिए जो कुछ challenges है, like India we have unwieldy arrangement, right? Arrangement नहीं है, centralizations नहीं है, and even the coordination is lacking. As a result, there is lack of coherent policy in training, planning, conduct of guarding operations, and among other outfit that is creating problem. ओवरऑल कोऑर्डिनेशंस की बात करें, दिस इज ऑल्सो बीइंग अफेक्टेड बिकॉज जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है वो हर एक बॉर्डर्स पे अलग अलग फोर्सेस की है, सो देयर ओवरऑल कोऑर्डिनेशन इज नॉट बीइंग डन। द एंटायर थिंग इज बीइंग हैंडल, ईदर सम फोर्सेस आर रिपोर्टिंग टू मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ डिफेंस, सम रिपोर्टिंग टू मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम ऑफिस। सो दिस इज समथिंग, मोस्टली जितने पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस है वो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ डिफेंस के अंदर ही ऑपरेट करते हैं, दैट इज MOD, राइट। सिमिलरली देयर इज अ मोडस ऑपरेंडी दैट अंडरगो क्वांटिटेटिव चेंज। हर एक फोर्सेस की ऑपरेशंस की जो तरीके हैं वो अलग अलग है, which is again creating a problem in synchronization of the security forces. Now, what is a way forward? What is the solutions that were suggested by the editor? So India need to have a single security agency that is adequately equipped with suitable arms, उनकी एक एडवांस मिलिट्री ड्रिल्स हो, और उनके जो टैक्टिक्स हैं वो गार्ड बॉर्डर्स पे यूज किए जा सके। दिस इज द फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट स्टेप दैट इंडिया कैन टेक। Second, the manpower and infrastructure should be created by pooling and merging the resources of CAPF and Assam Rifle. तो ये दो फोर्स जो है इनको मर्ज की जा सकती है, so that the potential benefit can be taken out. Further, to augment the battle efficiency, fixing the percentage of manpower, including the officer cadre, should be drawn from deputation from the army. राइट, स्टिल अगर आप देखेंगे SPJC जैसे जो फोर्सेज हैं वहाँ पे डिप्लॉयमेंट जो डिप्यूटेशंस होती है वो जो बेस्ट सर्विसेज में होते हैं, पैरामिलिट्री में, आर्मी में, उनको प्राइम मिनिस्टर के सिक्योरिटी के लिए डिप्यूट किया जाता है। देयर इज ओनली वन सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेज विच इज ऑपरेटिंग फॉर द सिक्योरिटी ऑफ प्राइम मिनिस्टर। तो इसी तरह से उसी तर्ज पे एक ऐसी डेपुटेशंस हो जहाँ पे जो बॉर्डर गार्ड बनाने के लिए एक एलीट फोर्सेस क्रिएट की जाए, विच इज अ सिंगल सिक्योरिटी एजेंसी एंड दैट इज परफॉर्मिंग एट इट्स ऑप्टिमल. So this is what the suggestion is. This particular news would be important for your mains, like mains में आपसे डिटेल में क्वेश्चंस पूछे जा सकते हैं. Now the proposed outfit of the National Border Guard, that should be the explicit mandate that is required at this point of time in terms of border transactions. And to ensure the desired training, जो ऑपरेशन स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं, जो NBG होंगी, that stand for National Border Guard. This is the suggestion that is coming from the editor. He want that इंडिया में एक NBG होनी चाहिए जो कि सिंगल फोर्स होगी पूरे बॉर्डर्स एरिया को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए, राइट. They would be designated with the paramilitary forces under the Ministry of Defense and they would operate under the army, right. This is the suggestion that has been suggested. And ITBP and SSB can be fully merged into the new outfit. These two forces can be merged. और BSF और CRPF की बात करें, this is still important for internal security duties and they can be partly merged. So these are some of the important suggestions and recommendations by the editor. If you're writing in mains paper, आप directly ये सारे points वहाँ suggestions के तौर पे, way forward के तौर पे use कर पाएंगे. So make sure you collect some more important point, you make a note of it so that you can write an examination. Now moving to the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option is A. For second question, the correct option is C. Today's MCQ for practice, आपको बताना है corruption perception index इनमें से कौन से स्टेटमेंट करेक्ट है। करप्शन सीपीआई की जो वो रिलीज की जाती है बाय करप्शन इरेडिकेशन कमीशन, इंडिया रैंक जो रैंकिंग है वो स्लिप हुई 86 पोजीशन पे इन टर्म्स ऑफ द सीपीआई. So you have to practice, you have to just check which among the following is the correct options. Second question, that is, which city in India has won the global tree city status, right? सबसे ज़्यादा ट्री कौन से states cities में है? Indore, Bangalore, Hyderabad और New Delhi, right? This might be important for many other competitive examination also. So this was all about the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.